Now we can officially start.
All right, what's up? Welcome to the channel, everybody. We are the Mokey Doki Show.
How's it going, everybody? We are the Mokey Doki Show. Back at it again with some Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge, Yu-Gi-Oh content, all that fun stuff.
That's right, back at it again for the first time. And my name's Dakota.
I'm Michael.
Yep, and
we are your hosts for this wonderful, wonderful podcast. It's going to be a little rough starting out because we haven't done one of these in a while, but you know.
Of course. And the exact structure of these isn't set up. We haven't decided if we're going to do cameras or not. That's something we'll figure out in due time. But
we'll give you something to look forward to maybe in the future. We'll make some improvements as we go, I think.
There we go. And the podcast, the little thing we got going on here is basically going to be about Yu-Gi-Oh related things, probably 90% of the time.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like frequency of uploads, maybe twice a week, maybe more, depending on how much, attention it gets, of course. But
hopefully we get some viewers to come and chime in and, make sure to leave comments and like and all that fun stuff. Subscribe, just so follow along with us on our journey through Yu-Gi-Oh.
There we go. Let us know how we're doing. If anything's annoying, like the music or whatever, that's just something you guys got to help us out with. We do test the volumes beforehand. We did a little bit of testing on that.
Definitely give us suggestions and everything too. If you find something that doesn't seem very good, we can try to improve that. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic. What do we have for us today, Dakota?
Yeah, let's not spend too much time daddling here. What we're going to be talking about, as kind of like a general scripting, real quick, is some of the upcoming releases for the TCG and OCG. We're going to be mainly covering the TCG because that's what pertains to most of our viewers. I'm just going to assume. So
I think the majority of the world pertains to the TCG. So. We will probably talk a little bit about the OCG because they do have some stuff that does affect how our sets kind of figure or how they're made, kind of.
Of course.
So we may reference something from the OCG, but
there we go.
We will be pretty much just talking about how TCG sets are for the next year or so that we have confirmed.
Exactly, and speaking of getting on that subject, we have Light of Destruction, which we were just talking about, coming out, the unlimited reprints.
Yeah. Let's get that out of the way, because that's an older set. That this is something that Konami, they do sometimes with like the really old sets, but this is the first time we're seeing, like, I don't want to say a newer set, but like a non-Duel Monsters set being reprinted like this, right?
Yeah.
Just taking an entire set and full of older cards and just reprinting them as unlims, limited editions. They did do this kind of thing with Power of the Elements a while back, and that went well, I guess. It tanked the value for a lot of the cards, but everybody got to play with, I guess, sprites, even though it was a little past their prime.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's kind of interesting that they're continuing to do this kind of thing, and I kind of hope that they continue to do it in the future, because it does give a lot of the people who play older formats a chance to kind of jump in and get cards for a little bit cheaper, hopefully.
Oh yeah, and that's especially it, because a lot of people are like, you look at these tier decks and you're spending at least $300 plus if you're going low rarity for a lot of things, just because some cards are like $30-$40 a piece and you need a play set. So
exactly, you see even like common copies of things like Super Nimble Mega Hamster for like Edison format being like $3 or $4 a piece, and it's like, this does not need to be this expensive.
Yeah, 3 cards is a structure deck, so
yeah, This should be pennies on the dollar, not like breaking the bank like this. So I definitely hope that they continue to do this with older sets. I don't know how frequently they should do it, or like how large their print run's going to be for Light of Destruction specifically.
Right.
But hopefully enough to kind of affect some of the higher end cards a little bit.
There we go. And then let's see, what else do we got coming up? We have the
Lightsworn structure deck is also being reprinted.
oh, there we go.
Well, and I think that's something we should also kind of mention. There's not too much that's really in it that you need for the new Lightsworn stuff. I mean, obviously, if you don't have your copies of Lumina or your copies of Wolf or Felice or whatever, that's where you're gonna get them. But or your synchro, the level 7 synchro, I guess. But I don't really see the structure deck itself really breaking the bank either. I mean,
Oh no, I
think
mean
you
it's
can still- yeah.
go ahead.
I think I've seen the first print run of some of those structure decks still on shelves in some card shops. So I don't know.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
yeah.
any other thoughts on the structure deck, Dakota? Anything?
Not really. I still feel like, mill decks are kind of like they're good, but they have like a weird spot, especially like Tearlaments did very well because naturally all their cards when they go to the grave or like when they're summoning themselves they mill, and Lightsworns.
Yeah, they have a lot of mill effects, and they have a lot of just ways to get the tier element names in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And like with Lightsworn, it's all end of turn, like minus a few cards like Raiden and stuff like that. But
And I think that's the cool thing about the next set that we're going to talk about here, Legacy of Destruction, because they are introducing new Lightsworn cards that mill during your actual turn and not during the end of your turn. So
Yeah,
it kind of helps bump up that consistency a bit,
yeah, that'll be quite tits for Lightsworn there.
Absolutely. So I have the set list pulled up here actually for this set, Legacy of Destruction, which is coming out soon. It's coming out in the North America, at least, on the 26th of April, so it's almost here by the time of recording. This set is going to have, I would want to say, 3 important archetypes, kind of, and then like a bunch of other random support cards.
Right.
Those 3 archetypes being the Lightsworn support,
There we go.
the Raikas, which are like, I think they're like the weird plant things or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the Tempai dragons, which are the big nasties that are coming out.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to the Tempais. So
Oh, and you're getting the Shining Sarcophagus cards too, which are cool, I suppose.
yeah, those are kind of fancy.
Yeah, I don't know if they're any good, but we'll see.
Unfortunately, no Infernoid support in that one. I think that's coming out in the side set, right? There's a side set coming out or something.
That, I believe, those are coming out in the Battle of Legends set, which is a few packs away. We'll get to that soon.
Unfortunate, but
As of recording, it looks like we have confirmation for the quarter century secret rares.
okay.
Minerva, the Lightsworn Synchro, is a quarter century rare.
Hey, there we go. That's gonna be money.
Yep, I'm gonna need 3 of those. And then it looks like the Shining Sarcophagus itself, as well as Veradrus, the final bringer of the end times. Isn't that the XYZ you wanted, like, really bad? Yeah, that's the rank 10 that we're talking about.
Oh wait,
earlier today.
when is that? Which one does that one come out in?
Legacy of Destruction. That's it's a secret rare and a quarter century secret rare. So there you go.
And that's coming out this month.
Yep.
Oh, dude, that's sweet.
Your Gishkis will be slightly better. Let's go.
The Gishkis. Can end on an Omni negate instead of just 3 monster negates. That's actually quite relevant.
Really nice. nice, yeah, especially since this recent ban list, where they banned 2 of the big Omni Negate cards.
That is true, and we will get maybe a little into the ban list later.
Indubitably. There's not really much else to say for this set. I mean, you're going to get the Vados cards, like they're getting support. The big thing, though, is the Tempai Dragons, and hopefully those cards are not nearly as bad as they are in the OCG when it comes to
Skipping
how
your opponent's
oppressive they
turn.
are. But, yeah. All I'll say is get your Battle Faders ready. Get your Threatening Roars ready, I guess.
Battle Fader and Threatening Roar, it's trap season. It's trap season. Alright.
Besides that, I mean, there's not really too much else to go through. I mean, there's like random other support for like Snake Eyes and everything, but
Well, that's kind of just like a little snippet of what's coming up, and of course we, in the months to come, we can talk about stuff that's coming out later on. But for now,
I think eventually it would be good to do a card by card and just go through sets and then like an individual episode they get spoiled, because
we could do that. Obviously, we don't want to talk about upcoming releases on every episode because they're not going to change. So
you want like a dedicated episode for that. So let us know in the comments down there if that's something you'd be interested in.
Can always bring up news about stuff, but probably not going to talk the same sets releasing.
Indeed.
And then what does the OCG have coming up? Like, what's their next set or two? Or
the OCG
structure decks?
Let's see.
Structure decks, side sets, event calendars. I don't know.
Getting a lot of random stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole bunch of like random side sets. It looks like they're getting Infinite Forbidden on April 27th, I guess, which is their next main set. So they're actually only a couple sets in front of us.
Oh, Infinite Forbidden. That sounds spooky.
It has the Exodia stuff in it.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
And we're getting that on July 19th, but we'll get into that later on because I have that tab pulled up already.
All right. Well, at least go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Oh, the next set that was coming after Legacy of Destruction is the Rarity Collection 2.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, when does that come out?
Doing this again. So this set is going to come out in North America on May 24th. Everywhere else, like Europe and pretty much everywhere else, is the 23rd.
Wow.
Like that. Alright.
It's shit on.
There is quite a few cards confirmed for this, and it's kind of interesting to see what's on it. They have the Solemn cards on it. Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's
so
kind of
weird
strange,
to me.
but like, I can kind of see it though. 'Cause
I mean, I guess
they do kind of come in and out of formats, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Judgment does and Strike does, but I mean, really nobody's playing Warning anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't really need like. It's basically like only a normal summon extra on Warning, but you're paying 500 more.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. They're also reprinting a lot of the Pearly cards, which is kind of interesting because that deck already has like collector rares for its max rarity.
Right.
And then they're printing the 3 field spells, Reichphobia, Perlarino, Raid Soth, the 4, and Calarium. So the ones for Scareclaw, Tear Elements, Kashtira, and Manadium.
Makes sense.
Those ones.
Okay.
We're getting
We getting Fenrir?
Emergency Teleport, Gold Sarcophagus, Book of Moon.
Emergency Teleport would be cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like the collector ultis.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like that.
You'd have that nice little finish to them, yeah.
Yeah.
For the big stuff though, we're getting DD Crow, we're getting Droll Lockbird alternate art, Ghost Ogre alternate art, and then we're getting Magician Souls, Ghost Mourner alternate art, alternate art Appaloosa, which is probably the big one. And then
that's
alternate
cool.
Art IP Masquerade.
Dude, and I don't have a fucking. I don't know why. I just don't have an Appaloosa, but yeah.
It's gonna look really nice. That's all
I do like the alternate art. It's kind of like it's a bit more white.
We're finally getting that IP Masquerena alternate art and something besides that disgusting ass gold rare.
Oh yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be nice. Some good sets coming up. Rarity Collection 2 is gonna really shake the game up again and drop prices on a lot of things. So.
I hope so. I've heard MSRP for this set is higher. I think because they increased the ratios for cards in here or something like that, and then they increased the price apparently. So the packs are going to be like $10 now instead.
Jesus.
Or something. Okay. Boxes are going to be like
$200.
$200, something like that. So I don't know. It kind of reminds me of how Magic does master sets.
Yeah. It's a good set. They don't want the cards to be super cheap.
I guess so, yeah.
All right, that kind of covers the upcoming and releases. That kind of covers like the next few months. So I guess maybe that'll be like a once a month thing. Maybe
yeah.
All right.
And there's a couple sets after this, but like they're a bit far off.
Yeah.
So we can do that later.
You'll hear that little beeping sound that your mic does in the recording. So I'll just make memes about it. But it's all right. Yeah, I don't know what's causing it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's just random. Anyways, so the next topic we have is specific support that's kind of coming up that we've maybe been looking at or that looks interesting to us that maybe you guys should be looking at too. So, is there anything up and coming that you've seen, Michael, that is interesting to you?
Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm looking through all these sets, and I'm seeing like the Ritual Beast cards and the Infernoid cards that are coming out in this Battle of Legends set.
Right.
And I'm kind of hyped for it. I'm not gonna lie. I miss those, you know?
Yep.
I miss the days of being able to summon out big, beefy lads and Infernoids, and I miss the days of spending 10 minutes comboing to end on, like, Kanahawk Pass. So,
nice.
Hopefully, they will be cheap, relatively, so you can get them. And, hopefully they'll be good enough to kind of compete with new decks, I guess.
Honestly, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just heading in a direction where it's going to be like almost anything is viable.
I hope that's the case, too. I want to be able to play a lot of different decks if need be. What about you? Is there anything that you are excited about coming out in one of these sets?
You know, I have to take a broader look at what's coming out, but there is just a few cards, specifically the Dragon / rank 8 support, where we got of course it is coming out for the OCG first in Duelists of Brilliance, which is DP29, but we have Drag Luxion, which is a generic rank 8. And he says if this card was special summoned from the extra deck, you can add a Galaxy or Tachyon card from your deck to your hand, which is really good. So no detach on that. And then his second effect is, and his second effect is you can detach 2 from this card, special summon a rank 8 Xyz, Dragon Xyz with 3000 attack from your extra deck by using this as a material. Then you can attach a Galaxy monster from your extra deck to it as an additional material. And it's treated as an Exceed summon.
So is that generic? Does it just need 2 level 8s?
Just 2 level 8s, and it's a 2500 3000 light dragon.
So you can grab the Galaxy Eyes alternative dragon or whatever it is, the one that specials itself from the hand if you have a Galaxy Eyes monster.
Right.
You search that, and then you can overlay into another like Galaxy Eyes monster from your extra deck with its other effect.
There we go.
Get a free body, and then when the alternative Galaxy Eyes card gets used as material, you get the Photon Dragon itself from the deck.
Right.
So there's some mighty potential for rank 8 spamming with that.
And of course, just to reinforce the rank 8, we also have Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon, which comes out in the same pack. Dark Dragon, level 8, 2000. You can only use each effect once per turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this card's effect, except Dragon Xyz monsters. So it's the entire turn, it's not the rest of the turn. So its effect is, its effect is if you control no monsters or your opponent controls a monster with 2000 or more attack, you can special summon this from your hand. And if you do, special summon a level 8 light or dark dragon monster from your deck in defense position, except this card, but its effects are negated.
That is a very good card. That is a very good starter, yeah.
So it is literally a free summon into a free XYZ.
That one I'm very hyped for as well.
That's probably going to be a secret rare or an ultra, a really expensive ultra, I'd assume.
Galaxy Spiral Serpent, I think it's called, is a card that I have loved for a long time. It's a common card from some set a while back, and it pretty much, if you control 2 dragons, you can special summon it from the graveyard, and then you can, once per turn, make all monsters you control level 8 until end of turn. So having more support for a card that I already enjoy is really nice. And I mean, all this stuff is already like level 8 anyway, but there are some dragon monsters that are like level 4 that I really do want to play.
There we go.
In these decks. So things like Collapse Serpent, Wyvern Buster, things like that.
Yeah.
Plus off.
So, besides our rank 8 dragon support, just quickly, we have coming out also in the OCG way later on in the year from Complete File the White Story is the Dogmatica Fusion support, which sends your opponent's entire extra deck to the graveyard as well as yours. So you can just dump their graveyard. I'm not going to go over that one too much, but in Legacy of Destruction, which comes out a little bit later, we have Aiza, the Dragoness of Deranged Devotion. Which is a bit of an interesting card. It's a dragon level 4 fire, so maybe indirect support for 10p. And its effect is it's got 1500 0. If this card is special summoned, you can place a deranged counter on a face-up monster your opponent controls, and it cannot be used basically for a material for anything from the extra deck. It can be a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link material. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster with that deranged counter, you can destroy that monster, and if you do, a Ring of Destructions. And then
that's pretty good.
This card also gets destroyed at the end of the battle phase. You can only use each effect once per turn.
Could be a viable stun option as well, I think.
Yeah.
Stopping your opponent from using maybe one of their main cards as a material for something is pretty powerful.
And if you have something that can summon her out on your opponent's turn, you might be able to stop them mid-combo by... you can target one of their links that they're planning on using for another link. If it's like a link 2 and they're going into a 3, so...
For sure.
Kind of shits on them.
For the Dogmatica card, I think that one's a bit of a bait. I don't see that being very viable. Even if Dogmatica becomes good. I just think that the big ritual monster, Albazoa, is just kind of better. But it's nice that they're getting their final card, essentially. Final boss.
Alba System Dogmatica. This is what it's called. And it is a 4,500, 2,500 defense, and it takes Fallen of Albaz plus 6 monsters in your graveyard with different names.
It's kind of... Does it have any alternative summoning conditions, or do you have to actually fusion summon it?
Must first be fusion summoned.
Oof, that's hard. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. I guess we'll just go over the effects since we're talking about it. It has 3 effects. Number 1, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Number 2, you must send 1 card from your extra deck to the graveyard to declare an attack with this card. Right. Number 3 is once per turn, if you control this fusion summon monster and have 6 or more fusion monsters in your graveyard with different names that mention Fallen of Alabaz as material, you can send all cards in both players' extra decks to the graveyard. So
it's kind of weird because it needs to send a card from the extra deck to the graveyard to attack, but its ultimate effect sends all of the cards from the extra decks to the graveyard.
I think it's not super easy to just dump the graveyard because it wants you. What the card is doing is wanting you to attack to send stuff to the grave, and then you can do it.
I suppose, yeah.
It's like a payoff.
It's like you can't attack ever afterwards, which is interesting.
And your opponent needs monsters out, so
yeah,
they've already done something. So what's the point? But if there's some way to turbo this out on turn 1, I mean, it's almost a guaranteed win.
Is it a machine, or is it a spellcaster or something?
It is a dragon.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
If somebody finds a way to FDK with that, let me know.
Dragon Mirror, maybe? I don't know.
Could be an option.
Could be. Any other cards you got sitting over there ready to go?
I think that's about it for upcoming support cards that I've seen so far. We're going to get into our next... Excuse me. We're going to get into our next little scripted part here, and that's just a couple of events that are coming up. Basically in the U.S. I mean, if there's Worlds or whatever, we'll mention that. But
Worlds.
Let's just... Michael, did you have that pulled up, or did...
I did not know.
Okay, let's go ahead.
I figured you did, but I can kind of talk about Worlds while you're pulling it up.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. We're having it in Seattle, which is somewhat local to us. And we were pretty excited initially about it, but the fact that it's not open to the public to play or to attend is kind of poopy. I've heard some big streamers are trying to kind of get something together to have a watch party or something like that, or a mock event, just to celebrate kind of. I don't know if that's gonna turn out. If it does, you'll probably see me there though. So,
which is fair. Okay.
It's so weird because have they ever done this before? Have they ever closed off a Worlds to the public?
I don't know. It seems really weird to me.
It's why now? Especially when they're hosting in Seattle.
Right, yeah.
Oh well.
Let's see if we can find...
It'll probably just be Snake Eyes mirror matches or something anyway.
So it looks like no Yu-Gi-Oh! Days coming up. That was only in January. As far as I'm seeing.
Any regionals going on? Any YCSs?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series. Let's see.
While he's looking, by the way, everybody pick up your copies of Speedroid Terror Top now at 3.
Sponsored here. All right, so looks like April 13th to the 14th, which is the final day. We have YCS in Guadalajara, Mexico, and then
going on as we speak.
On the 20th of this month, we have Relay, NC Raleigh, North Connecticut. Is that what that is? No, that's not. What the fuck am I talking about? North Connecticut. Yeah, North Carolina. I don't know why the fuck I said Connecticut. Jesus Christ. There's too many states. All right, May 4th, which is the 4th and the 5th, we have Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. That's kind of exciting. And then June 1st, we have Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay. So
I will not be attending any of those.
Those are the YCSs coming up. So our qualifier. Let's see. What's after YCS? Is that that's Worlds, right? Qualifiers.
Nationals, I'd say.
National qualifiers.
Yeah, something like that. Well, there would be WCQs, right? The World Championship qualifiers, but those are split up through different events, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't really play competitively like that too much, so I don't have a vast knowledge of that system.
Yeah. It looks like it runs from May 4th to June 9th. And the events take place in there for the WCQs. And then let's just look at the championship qualifiers and the championship. So for the WCS qualifiers, we have June 21st in Central America, June 28th in South America, and then we have July 19th for North America. And then for the World Championship, we have September 7th and the 8th is when the championship goes off.
Get your tickets now, I guess, for all that stuff.
And that's probably one of the topics I will only talk about once a month, too, maybe. Maybe not even that. We'll see what goes on. All right, so now we're kind of getting up into the point of the stream. We're about 30 minutes in right now, where we're going to have a little bit of leisure time, and we're going to kind of talk about cards that we're interested in, or, kind of something along the sort. There is a subject that I would like to include in every episode, which is a card that me and Michael have been looking at that might not be very popular right now, hasn't seen any reprintings or play or support, but is a good card nonetheless. And maybe you should pick up some copies of it. I don't know how else to explain that, but Michael, did you have a card picked out?
I do, actually. This is actually pretty on topic because this card just got put to 1 on the ban list. And I think it kind of fits all of your categories. This card is Chicken Game.
Hey, there we go.
For those who don't know, Chicken Game it was banned quite a while ago. It originally comes out of Clash of Rebellions. It is a field spell card that reads as follows. The player with the lowest life points takes no damage. Once per turn during the main phase, the turn player can pay 1,000 life points, then activate one of the following effects. Draw 1 card, destroy this card, your opponent gains 1,000 life points. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. This card is interesting for a few reasons. One, it's a generic card draw tool that is searchable by cards like Terraforming and Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. It also is kind of a stall tool because you can pay life points and if at the very worst give your opponent 1,000 life points, I guess, so that they can't destroy it immediately with its own effect, and that way they can't attack you.
Oh, there we go.
Or at least they can't deal damage to you or whatever.
Right.
And then it's also spell speed 4 technically, because neither player can respond to it, which is
that's pretty good. Yes.
You can't hash it.
That is so interesting.
It's kind of interesting to me because we saw on the last ban list we got a lot of card draw cards back to 3 copies. So Upstart Goblin got put to 3.
Right.
And now this is coming off to 1. So I'm kind of wondering, what is Konami thinking when it comes to this kind of card? Cards that draw cards like this.
Yeah, that is interesting. Oh, something I wanted to bring up. I'll just post a brief picture of it, but there's that new Octopus card that almost is a mimic of Max C that we saw earlier.
Yes. That card is very interesting as well. That pretty much confirms that Max C's never coming back, right?
For the TCG. And I don't remember exactly, but it basically says whenever your opponent special summons a monster from the hand, after discarding this, you get to draw a card. So
it's normal or specials from the hand.
Oh, there we go. So Fluunderies.
And then if they have, let me think, it's like if you have like 6 plus cards more than the total number of cards your opponent controls, you have to shuffle cards back into the deck that are equal to the difference or something.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think that's feasibly going to happen unless, again, you're playing against Fluunderies.
There we go.
In any case, I mentioned Chicken Game because as 1 printing, it just came off the ban list. It's at 1. Konami really likes to kind of test the waters with these kind of things and slowly kind of step these cards off the ban list over time. So you could see this card going to 2 or 3 at some point. And this card is currently sitting at $5 right now. So pick up your copies while you can if you don't have them already. That's all I had for this card. I just thought it was cool. Oh, one last thing. Exodia decks. I don't think they're good, but you got this now, and this card also combos with Pseudo Space to draw more cards. So there you go.
Chicken Game with Exodia is a match made in heaven.
Library FTK, let's go.
There we go. All right, so Chicken Game is a very good card. It's a common. So
it is a common, yeah.
For my card, a bit of a weird one, but since I have been looking at a lot of ritual decks, I have ran into a high ritual art, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, only has maybe 2 printings, and one's an ultra rare, so if not, it only has 1 printing and it's the ultra, so
it appears it has a ultra rare in Dawn of Majesty and a super rare in the 2022 Megatins.
Well, there we go. So 2 hollow printings, and that's all it has. And High Ritual art reads, this card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your deck. So you must, but the catch is you have to tribute normal monsters from your hand, whose level equal the level of the ritual monster. So as long as you have normal monsters in your hand, you're able to ritual summon any ritual monster from your deck. Which, who knows? Konami's been fucking around with vanilla monsters, so... And it's just one of those cards that has 2 hollow printings, but honestly, the effect is really powerful. If you're only required to have, the ritual spell and then essentially just 1 monster in your hand, you don't even have to have the material. It's quite good in my opinion. So
the first card that comes to mind for this when I'm talking about like ritual summoning something is Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon.
Hey, there we go.
Because you just send Blue Eyes back, and then you summon the Chaos Max, and then you have the 4K beater that can't be targeted and destroyed and does double piercing damage.
Absolutely, yeah. Blue Eyes is a big plus. Red Eyes too, maybe.
Yeah, there's some Red Eyes cards with a Lord of Red is pretty good. It's kind of like a flare metal effect, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Also, Demise King of Armageddon is kind of saucy. You get the Judgment Dragon effect of blowing up all cards on the field with it.
Oh yeah, for only 2,000. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good.
So maybe there's some sauce there. Who knows?
And
one thing to mention for this card, it probably will not matter in most games, but you have to shuffle that ritual monster back into the deck during the opponent's end phase.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to be a big issue. You just link it off afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
You're done.
Assuming there's something with like some sort of effect that you get from it.
Exactly. The highest rarity printing of this card from Dawn of Majesty is currently sitting at 25 cents. So
there we go. Yeah, it's a really cheap card to pick up.
Definitely worth having a playset sitting around somewhere.
And I did actually have a shout out for another card that I wanted to mention, and of course, if you have another one too, you can also kind of add that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is, and there's not really anything that can use this card right now. And maybe that's why Konami doesn't care about it. But Burning Skullhead is it's a video game promo card, and if anything ever comes out, and maybe that's why they made the new Octopus card that's Maxi, that special summons monsters from the hand, indigenously. Burning Skullhead could be a thing because it only has the video game promo printing, the wheelie, whatever it is, Zach's Wheelies, whatever. Printing. So
Breakers promotional card.
Yep, Wheelie Breakers. So
interesting.
And it's not the most expensive card right now. I think it's running anywhere basically up to $10 plus. So maybe like $8 to $10.
Looks like a near mint copy is gonna run you $13 right now.
So it is a little bit more than the last time I checked, but it's not super expensive, and it's a really old printing that's ultra rare. So. Did you have any other throwout cards, Michael?
The only other throwout card I think I have right now is a card that I think a lot of us have kind of forgotten. This card also only has one printing. It's Arch Nemesis Escatos.
Oh,
we
there
just
we go.
got Protoss off the ban list. Oh, this card actually has 2 printings now, but we just got Protoss off the ban list, and I think everybody's attention is kind of in on that right now. But Escatos does essentially the same thing, and arguably better because you can set it up with Reprodokus' ability as well. And I think that's kind of important for several reasons. This card is searchable, just like Protoss. You can get it with Melody of Awakening Dragons.
Oh, that's tits.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's light, it's a dragon.
Oh, the
It's
best.
got 3k attack, 2,500 defense.
It's
Can't be
literally the
destroyed by
best.
artifacts.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read the card for people who don't know, because this card is a bit obscure. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 monsters with different types from your graveyard and or face-up field. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can declare 1 monster type on the field. Destroy all monsters on the field with that type. Also, until the end of the next turn, neither player can special summon monsters with that type. You can only use this effect of Arch Nemesis Escatos once per turn.
It's so good. It's such a good card.
Notably, you can declare dragon because it's a dragon, and then destroy all other dragons because it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and then your opponent can't special summon dragons, so that's kind of cool. I splashed
Which is
this
relevant
into my
because of the
rank-
dragon support coming out.
Yeah, exactly. I splashed this into my rank 8 turbo deck, even though it's level 11. I splashed it in there because I can search it out with Melody. I'm already playing Melody of Awakening Dragons anyway, and I tend to have a lot of different monster types in my graveyard with that deck.
Hold on, Michael. Give me 1 sec. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I'll just cut that little part out.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
What
start
do you
over.
want me to start that from?
Just start over.
Okay.
The rank 8s.
Gotcha. So this card I play in my rank 8s, my rank 8 turbo deck, because I can search it already with Melody of Awakening Dragon. I'm
Oh.
playing that for Blue Eyes and Blue Eyes Alternative White, and now the Galaxy Eyes stuff as well soon. And this card is just a nice little end piece. You can summon a bunch of rank 8s. You usually have a couple monsters with different types in your graveyard or on your field anyway, and then you just slap this bad boy out and blow up your opponent's board, and then they can't play next turn while you set up a bunch of guys. So
Super good.
it's really cool. I think if there's any, especially with the Galaxy Eyes stuff coming out, I think there is potential for this card to see play in that. A lot of generic rank 8 monsters have different types, although there's a lot of dragons. Different types are available, like Zombie Vampire. I think Photon Lord is a warrior or something. I don't know. Felgrand's a warrior, I know that.
Yeah, Felgrand is.
So, yeah, so you have a bunch of options, I think.
That's those are all some very good points. Yeah.
So pick up your copies now. It has 2 printings currently. One of them is a ultra rare in Eternity Code. Another one is a rare in Valiant Smashers. So if you really need one, they're 4 cents from Valiant Smashers. Or if you want to try and max rarity, they're currently sitting at a teensy weensy $3.50 from Eternity Code.
Pretty good price for a
Have fun
secret
with that
rare.
knowledge. $3, it's an ultra, but $3
Oh,
for
ultra.
a card that could possibly win you games, which is nice.
Yep, and we'll have a picture of all these cards up on the screen so you guys can see them. All right, so I mean, seriously, it's, you know, especially with those, you know, penny cards or cards that are less than $1, just, you know, there's no reason to not picking them up. Like the ultra rare High Ritual art, or you know, the $3 ultra rare Arch Nemesis that could be fucking $20 in the future. So
Also, just to kind of hammer in how important it is to kind of pick up these small cards, Escados used to be a card that I believe it was about a year ago. It was at 15 to 20 bucks or so.
Yeah.
Sometime around October of last year.
And that wasn't even Protos is the important one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't have your copies of Protos right now, it's too late for you. No.
You're forking some cash out now.
Yeah, that train.
Excuse me.
So.
All right, coming up next on the list. Not really on the list, but another topic we can discuss. Some of our favorite decks of all time. So, just because this is the first episode, we'll kind of introduce you guys to like who we are, kind of how we came up in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh. We all basically started in high school. That's kind of
started a bit before that.
Michael started a bit before. He was an early bloomer, and I had cards when I was in kindergarten, but you don't understand anything back then. So I started like my first year in high school. My first pickup was the Agent structure deck, the Master Hyperion structure deck. So
classic.
Right, and I guess one of my favorite decks of all times is Gladiator Beast. That was like, when my first, quote unquote competitive deck after they were already out of the competitive scene. But of course, playing in high school, it was really fun to have that. Summoning Herakleonos or mainly Geysaris, popping monsters, and they're all cheap secret rares. Not anymore, but
they were.
They were in the 25-cent bin when I was picking them up. So
now Edison's taken them a little bit to the.
Yeah, and just
higher levels of value.
Of course, and I love that for them because I think Gladiator Beasts deserve to be one of the played Edison decks. In my opinion, it's a really colorful, pretty deck. You have everything in it. You have Herakleonos for negate. You have War Chariot for negate. Geysaris to pop. The monsters are just utilitarian. You can special summon from the grave or recycle cards or summon more monsters, and it's just you can use Prisma to set up Darius, and then just all this kind of good stuff. So Test Tiger.
A lot of different plays, yeah. I think if I recall, Gladiator Beasts are still the most represented deck in Yu-Gi-Oh history. I don't know if that's changed at all or not, but
just a very
I know like 5 years ago that was still the case where Gladiator Beasts had the most like topping wins or whatever in Yu-Gi-Oh history. So
yeah, it's just a really I mean they had their own set, the Gladiators Assault, so
yeah, Glass was a great set. I don't know if I had any other like standout cards. It's been a while, but
I'd have to take a look at the set list again. But go ahead, Michael. What is one of your all-time favorite decks?
Oh, which one do I choose? There's so many good ones. I would say probably. I would say that Clay Forts would be mine.
There we go.
I absolutely, pay 8, feel great, all that fun stuff. I love the utility of being able to special summon monsters, sacrifice them, summon out bigger guys that are hard to get rid of, and then getting bonus effects off the stuff that you tributed.
Oh, dude,
I don't really think there's any other deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Even today that gets effects off of the stuff that are tributed. Maybe Fluanderies, but like interaction pieces, like destroying a spell or trap card, or bouncing a monster or something like that.
Especially not ones for like good decks. Like there might be a few, but they're for bad decks.
Exactly. So I'm hopeful that Cleaforts will eventually get some sort of support.
The Link Monster was a little weird.
The Link Monster's cool, and it does stuff for like Earth machines, but it's not really a Cleafort card. It's kind of like how the Lightsworn Link Monster wasn't really a good Lightsworn card. It was just...
It was a good Lightsworn card. It was just better for everything else.
I'd also like to mention Lightsworns. Lightsworns is also one of my favorites of all time, and I'm very hyped for the new support coming out.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have that deck max rarity, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready for Lightsworn format.
And to go along with that, also Gishkis have been a very important part in my life, and
yes, the Gishkis.
They recently just got support with Neri Manus and Grim, and looking forward to seeing the Lightsworn support. If that deck will actually come back, or if people are just going to piece out the Lightsworn support to other decks again. So
I have confidence. I have confidence.
There we go. Is there any? What do you think is the most? What's one of the most notable decks in Yu-Gi-Oh history for you? Like, what do you think really stood out to you, like as an outlier, and like maybe caused a few cards to get banned? I'm not talking about like an archetype like the Teller Knights or something, but what's like one of those decks that is an outlier that you think about that was really good and really strong?
I think about Sylvans a lot.
You think about
I know the Sylvans are very controversial in the Tengu plant community, or whatever the heck format that they're in, that people like. I think that deck was quite ahead of its time in terms of like what it can do and everything, and it just it was one of those decks that really required a lot of like skill and like forward thinking in order to play effectively. And like you kind of look, you play through these formats, right? You play through like Dragon Rulers, or you play through like Necros format or something, and in the moment you think like, oh man, these decks are really cool, but like you have to practice a lot to really get good at them. But like when you're sitting here now looking at cards that have literal paragraphs of text on them, and you go back and look at some of these other cards, you're like, these cards were easy to play back then. That being said,
I can totally see that. That's a good point.
Yeah. I can literally go and pick up Necros right now and play it like out off of memory and be pretty decent at it, without much practice.
And that's something to say, because like I never actually played the deck, but because I was playing Infernoids at the time and I played against it so often, I could probably pick the deck up and be good at, so. Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things with Sylvans is you can't do that as easily, because the way the deck like functions is just so different, I think, than most other decks in Yu-Gi-Oh.
And oh my god, I love the Sylvan Exceeds. The Sylvan Exceeds are so good. Yeah, the Sylvan
Exceeds are so cool. The Sylvan Link Monster is really cool. I love that card. That card is insane. Being able to summon up to 3 guys from the top of your deck is really insane.
Dude, it's tits.
And it just goes, like, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to, like their play style. It's so different because you have to, instead of, like, try to just normally draw cards or special summon from the deck, you have to set everything up. And that's something that I've always kind of enjoyed.
Which is totally fair. Yeah, and that's...
Yep.
Honestly, Sylvans, yeah, like you said, when they first came out, like seeing Hermitry and like Guardian Oak and
their art just looked good too. Like,
it just looks good, and then the Sylvan Charity, like that card just
Sylvan Charity. Oh,
it just felt like such a good card, and even if you didn't do anything off of it, it was fun playing it, and then being able to play like Miracle Fertilizer and random
Lone
shit
Fire
like
Blossom,
that. Lone Fire Blossom is just tits, and then you have like Gigaplant and stuff like that. So
Soul Charge was legal in that format as well, so even if you messed up, you could at least have an oopsies button there.
Yeah, and I think it's not the first example of excavating, but it's one of the first examples of making it like a prevalent effect in a deck.
It's what they really wanted to cement the keyword in.
Yeah.
Is with that deck, yeah.
And
like that deck is very versatile too when it comes to like what it can do. It has like access to
Felgrams,
XYZs, obviously.
Yeah.
You can play Spore and Copy Plant, so you can synchro.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays you can play a Therion package because you have Lily Borea. The possibilities are endless with that deck. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Sylvan's definitely one of the really good decks that came out during that time.
A deck with a high ceiling, yes.
Oh yeah, and
nice.
For me, I don't know why I think about this deck so often. Dark Synchro with Triple Omega just seemed like such a surreal time to me, because that was that was one of the first examples of, if you're good at solitaire, you can win the game on your first turn almost no matter what. So being able to rip, and it's just the lines, like memorizing those long ass lines and ripping all the cards out of your opponent's hand, just absolutely insane. And I don't think a deck. Go ahead. Well, I mean, of course, it got Omega limited to 1, and I don't think I've ever seen a deck utilize, stupid cards like desynchro and shit like that. And I think it got Level Eater banned too, didn't it? Is that the deck?
I think Level Eater was for Lynx, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Not banned because of Lynx, if I recall correctly, but
almost a more consistent wind-up deck,
Kinda, yeah, in a way, yeah. It's interesting you mention it though, because one of the big bads of that deck, Destiny Hero Malicious, just got put to 3.
Exactly.
Then,
that's
that, and then we just had Baron DeFleur and Warlord Savage Dragon banned. So looking through the list of big boss monsters that can negate, another mainstay of the Dark Synchro deck, Void Ogre Dragon, is now a little bit more relevant.
Yeah, there we go. Just almost a generic level 8 synchro that negates. So.
Yep, negates a spell or trap if you have no cards in hand, which is not hard to do. So.
Yeah,
I think between those and like some other support that we got, I mean, you can even probably play Fusion Destiny in that deck. Just send Malicious to grave and Denier and just go off. You have 4 copies of Malicious now because you have Denier as well.
And I mean, it was just such a fever dream, like when that deck was out, because I feel like it only lasted like 2 months maybe, and then they were like, damn, we got to get rid of Omega. And,
yeah, we can't let this happen.
And you've seen a couple of the topping, and it started popping up all over like a disease, and all of a sudden it was gone because Omega was.
That deck had a lot of high rarity cards in it too. And you had like Punch Spreader in there. You had E-Tally for Krebons or whatever. If you still did that.
I thought it was just such a sexy deck.
Omega was like $50 a piece or something.
Oh yeah. All right, so we don't really have any more topics specifically to cover. It is encroaching on an hour, so I don't want to pick anything that's too long. I want to keep the episodes like manageable and
roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting all of the info in an episode, and like I'd love to go over the ban list and maybe a few of the cards that I've been picking up or like the decks that we play or something. But for the sake of time and for the sake of the first episode, just trying to make it seem natural, I think we'll go ahead and start to end it here. Is there anything you wanted to put out there, Michael? Like maybe specifically you want to say? It could be about anything.
Buy Speedroid Terror Top.
It might be too late to buy the ultis because we've looked at the price charts, but
ultis are 85 to 90 right now. Just go min-max your rarities and buy a super rare for like $7.
It's an instant include in Goblin Riders and any rank.
If Invoker ever comes off the list, it's going to go up in price too, because Invoker just makes that card insane.
MX Saber Invoker. God damn, we need that.
It's a free link too as well, because I mean you just special it from hand and you search Take Tomborg and special that.
Which is true. It's all freeze.
Yeah, and Speedroid as a deck isn't terrible either. Actually, there's been lists of people playing Speedroid Kashtira, for example, which is kind of weird, but there are viable options for it. And again, Goblin Riders as well will absolutely enjoy this.
Yeah,
definitely a big buff to it. So.
Yeah.
It felt really awkward at 2, so having the full playset back is good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. Triple Terror Top. 1 to Ketamorg. We're good. I think. I think just some final words, and I don't want to get too deep, but we're not experts by any means. We have a very broad knowledge of the game. We kind of just play whatever. Like I'm getting an Infernoid deck together, which might be a Terra deck, but I play Adamant Spiders and Dushki. What was that?
Yeah, we've played through a lot of formats in our past, but we're by no means competitive players at any point. So.
And I'm even anyone who's playing the game, absolutely, as long as you're playing the game and you're having fun, whatever. But I personally, I wouldn't go out and pick up Snake Eyes or anything. I would,
Yeah.
you know, so. You know, I'm not a Yugi boomer or nothing, and I'm a Metacritic, but I really like playing other stuff besides what everybody else is playing. So
I just like shiny cardboard. I just collect mostly.
shiny, expensive cardboard, especially the old cardboard, because it just looks better for some
It
reason.
does. It really does.
And I guess, yeah, just some other final words about the show. There's not going to really be a specific direction until we get a few episodes in, because then we can start to formulate like a schedule and talk about certain things on certain days. I do want the card of the day to come up for both of us. You know, and then we'll figure out some other topics then. If you guys want to see like our faces,
Yeah.
If
I
you
can't wait to list off cards that are like that nobody knows about.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying with that.
And we can make episodes about going at, you know, deep dives into the ban list, and we do I think we want to stream, but because we made the channel today, YouTube won't let us stream, so we just wanted to get an episode out, and it gives me a chance to like kind of figure everything out, and you know, maybe and maybe we won't even stream. Maybe we'll just leave streaming on the channel for like maybe we'll do some live duels or something, and then that way we can, you know, I can edit pictures in a timely manner, and it's not just being thrown up, and you're not hearing our keyboards click all the time and like that on the video.
Exactly.
So, other than that, if there's anything you guys have to critic about, like maybe our microphone volumes, Michael's Transformer beeps over there, or
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna have to look into that.
right, the music in the background, like if it's annoying or if it's too loud. We basically put it in there to cover up like the little bits and sounds behind our microphones, because, you know, we don't have neither of us have covers. We have condenser microphones, but it's just kind of cover up that little, you can hear my computer fan or something like that. It's just for your guys' sake.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and give us feedback. And on that note, anything else, Michael?
I think that's it.
Thank you guys for joining us at the Mokey Doki show. We'll see how this goes. Anyone that made it this far on the first episode, you are a fucking champion, and
Absolute trooper, yeah.
and
it's a little rough, but you know.
yeah, and
First episode.
if you just happen to skip to the end, just, you know, thank you for clicking on the video anyways, and any constructive criticism in the comments literally helps the algorithm and just us in general on the channel. So
We're begging for a crumb of criticism.
Criticism, but just, you know, take us with a grain of salt, and don't, you know, load us up with, you know, cannon soldiers in our butt. So
Ooh, I'm gonna make a cannon soldier deck now. I want to FTK people.
But thank you guys so much again, and Michael, we'll see you next time, right?
See y'all later.
See ya.